Hello. There's a big debate at the moment about how green are EVs and how much they cost to run and buy. So let's look at some of the facts. Everyone else is commenting, so why not me? But first of all, if you can like and subscribe, that would be fantastic. And please take a look at my other videos. I'll kick off by agreeing with one EV doubter that there is nothing green about me and others buying an EV and sending it by ship from China to the UK. I didn't buy a Tesla because it was electric. I bought it because I thought it was the best car available at the time. And I wanted to get away from the smelly diesel that causes health issues and harms the planet. Exposure to diesel exhaust can lead to serious health conditions, asthma, and can worsen existing heart and lung disease, especially in the children and elderly. I buy my electricity from renewable suppliers and plan to get solar panels as soon as I can. I could have bought a BMW owned electric Mini built in Cowley, Oxford, but it isn't as good, and the range is definitely not as good as the Tesla on road trips, as well as the Tesla supercharger network. Now, Teslas are now built in Berlin, so if I was buying one now, it wouldn't be quite as bad as shipping it across from China. And of course, if we hadn't left the EU, who knows, Teslas could have been built here in the UK. I do like facts, that's not one, what I've just said. And it's true, it takes more money to build an EV because of the battery. But one piece of news claimed that it took 55,000 miles before there were any environmental advantages. But that report had been proved to be biased and incorrect by a number of people. The correct number is closer to 15,000 miles in Europe, and much lower if you have solar or renewable suppliers for your electricity supply. I certainly do agree with one YouTuber who loves his diesel cars, and I've driven so many in my 50 years driving. Buying a new car every 3 years is not very green. Totally agree with that. My Tesla was the first new car I'd ever bought, but I did have some new company cars that my employer bought for me. I also wish Tesla would build a smaller EV hatch Model 2, whatever you want to call it, as the Model 3 is too big for my needs for 99% of the time. I don't think one person in an electric Hummer truck, big SUV, is green, as it's using so many resources. It might not be adding to the CO2 emissions, but after it's been built, one person in a big vehicle is ridiculous, unless of course it's being used on a farm or in construction. Also, haters say that the weight of EV is a problem, but the Tesla Model 3 is not a small car, but it weighs less than a Range Rover and many BMWs and Volvos. There have been reports in some anti-EV papers that roads are cracking up and multi-storey car parks, and they can't take all the extra weight, which is untrue. EV haters say electric comes from oil and gas, but if you look at the national grid live for the UK, you can see on a daily, weekly and yearly basis where our electricity for the national grid comes from. More is coming from solar, wind and renewables, and less comes from coal and gas, which is going to be a good thing. And in the UK we don't burn any oil for electricity, thank goodness. On the wind turbine subject, EV haters say birds are killed by wind turbines, another reason not to buy an EV. The State of the Birds report in the US say the top threat to birds is cats at 2.4 billion. Then windows at 599 million. Birds fly into them as they see the reflection of the outside, not realising it's actually glass. Now cars, another 200 million birds die. Power lines, collision, 25 million. Towers, 6.6 million. And wind turbines, 750,000. Now, many reports say climate change threatens 2 out of 3 bird species, and another report says oil spills kill hundreds and thousands of birds every year. Some occur in dramatic large spills, but many occur in thousands of much smaller incidental spills that are never reported or documented. Oil and wastewater pits kill up to another 2 million birds per year, according to the report. Now, some EV haters claim electric costs more than diesel. Well, that's not true. Charging at home, day or night, is a fraction of diesel costs at the pumps. I've worked out the numbers a number of times. Tesla superchargers for my Tesla Model 3 are also cheaper than diesel unless you're getting more than 60 miles per gallon. The average diesel gets 45 miles a gallon and not many get 60 miles a gallon or more. And the ones that do will be a lot smaller than my Tesla Model 3. The following is just one of many positive comments I got when I asked for comments about EV ownership. The person said, "My main motivation for owning an EV was saving money, and so far I calculate that in fuel costs alone, driving an MG ZS is 4 times cheaper compared to a gas car. Road tax is 3 times cheaper, and maintenance is 3 times cheaper." And you can see that on the previous video what all the comments are about EV ownership, good and bad. And that was a survey I did on owning an EV. Please take a look at it. Many comments were just like that. And people bought an EV not because it was electric or green, but because they thought it was a better car. Well, what do you think? Do you love or hate EVs? Or do you love the smell of diesel in the morning? Thanks very much for getting this far. Please leave your comments below. I hope you can like and subscribe. And please take a look at my other videos. Don't forget to take your reusable coffee cup wherever you go. Thanks very much. See you next time. Bye.